This is Anthony Muniz. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be presenting to you today on the request for a contract proposal for the City of San Bernardino Transit Center. And I have a few slides available so that we can get familiar with what the background is, what type of services, what type of contract that will be provided, how the selection process will work, and the different types of insurance for indemnity and the insurance that is needed, and any regulations that are involved so that we can make a sound judgment on whether or not we should move forward. I also do have a recommendation I'll be presenting to you last. So let's move on to the first slide. For this project, this consists of an environmental clearance and design services for a construction of a 22-bay bus facility, which is associated with buildings and related off-site improvements of the Omnitrans. So this is part of a larger project that is taking place in San Bernardino with the rail service. What we will be asked to do is to provide all necessary environmental studies and support functions so Sandbag, which is the San Bernardino Associated Governments, could obtain the proper environmental clearance with the federal transit authorities and to certify the environmental quality portion of the document. We have to prepare conceptual plans to meet the available funding. We also have to prepare construction documents to obtain all approvals for on-site and off-site improvements. This is a federal aid project. The project is awarded and financed in part by the United States Department of Transportation, USDOT. We'll be having a time and materials contract with not to exceed the amount and fixed hourly rates. This project is huge. It appears that the San Bernardino Associated Governments have been working on this for quite some time. And I'll move on to the regulations, which is the most important part. The next portion of this presentation is in regards to the regulation. There are 3 sets of regulations that we'll be discussing today, and so that you're made aware of is on the federal level, on the county level, and on the state level. What's most important is the federal level because this is a federal aid contract and there's going to be transportation done, and there's transportation work that is being done and through the United States Department of Transportation. There is the UDBE. What's important about the UDBE is that it's an underutilized disadvantaged business enterprise. The contract states that we need to have a 3.2% usage of UDBE with the contracts. What's also important is that the contract states that we need to submit forms stating that we do have a submittal of bidders and then a bidders list of UDBEs about 4 working days after the contract due date, proposal due date actually, excuse me. And so because we will be hauling off large portions of the land and building on this 22 bay area, what they're looking for is Latinos, African American, all women that have to own at least 50% of the business. And so that's probably one of the most important aspects. If we cannot meet the 3.2% and we put every effort possible, there is a form that they do want us that is mandated, and that is the good faith effort. Then we have to report what type of effort we have done in order to meet the 3.2%. And then there is also the state, which is the prevailing wages. We can also look at the state's website on Department of Industrial Relations. They do have a well categorized list of most of the industrial labor that is out there and the prevalent wage that is for there. So for example, in metal roof installers at $40 an hour, that's that basic wage, and then you have the straight wage, which is at $60. And so it breaks that all down. We do have great accounting staff with our company, and so I believe that we can meet and those standards on the state level. And at the county level, what the Sandbag is asking is that we go ahead and make sure that we file a non-lobbying clause. And what that states is that we in no way assisted the sandbag or the authority in proposing the project, coming up with anything about the project, which we don't have to worry about. We have not done that whatsoever. This is the first time we've heard about this project. And so those are the regulations that are set for the sandbag project, for the 22 Bay project. And now we'll move on to the next section. Any proposals for this RFP. And so the selection process is very thought out. And so it's fair, open, and competitive. The consultant firm will be basically on the set objectives within the RFP, which you all have a copy of today. So we have to demonstrate that we have competence, that we're professional qualifications, that we've had the experience and capabilities to perform the services of building this 22 bay facility, also with getting past the environmental regulations and reports that are necessary. And so once we submit through the selection process, what will end up happening is we will move through the key dates. And so an important key date is coming up very, very soon. The pre-proposal conference is September 12th. That's just, I believe this Monday. And so it's 11 a.m. And so I believe we should go to that if we decide after my recommendations. And the question submittal is that it's about 7 days after that, September 19th. Those questions need to be submitted by 4 p.m. There's a proposal due date, which is due September 29th. So we do have some time in there. After the pre-proposal conference, any questions could be cleared up by the 19th. We'll submit our proposal by 2 p.m. on the 29th. If we are selected, we will be interviewed on October 10th. Then the consultant selection will be determined. It would move on to board by November 2nd, and then the notice to proceed will be out by November 3rd. So it's definitely a winter project. And so that's the selection process in a nutshell, along with some of the key dates that are there. And so and since we're here, I guess we might as well discuss the indemnity insurance, which again is important. So we do have to get a hold harmless against the authority. It's very important. We will get that. It should not be a big deal. And there's insurance of proof of coverage. And what that entails is we have to do California carrier with a rating of A7, and so we have the professional liability, workman's compensation, commercial general liability, automobile liability, and railroad protective liability. Since we will be building near a railroad, it's very important that we are covered with this type of insurance coverage as well. And so now we'll move on to our my recommendation. So here are my recommendations for the project. I believe we should submit a project proposal. We have done a type of project like this before down in San Diego, next to a rail yard. It was about the same size. It wasn't 22 bays. The thing was not 20 bays. We've had to use UDBE before, actually at a larger rate than 3.2%. And so do have the staffing capabilities. We do have the professional, the qualities, and we definitely can do this job at a fair and reasonable rate to be considered even through the interview. So my recommendation is that we move forward, go to the proposal meeting, submit any questions we do have, and submit the proposal by the key deadline in September so that we can move forward in December with this project as well. And so I hope you enjoyed my presentation today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at anthony.muniz@ourcompany.com. If you have any questions, again, it's anthony.muniz@ourcompany.com, or you can reach me at extension 71130. Thank you so much.